Hello, this is JC Tovar with Filminaustin.com, and we're talking to Nick Frost today about his new film, Cuban Fury.
First off, congratulations on making a very funny and really enjoyable movie.
Thank you. Cheers.
So the premise of the film was your original idea. How or what sparked salsa?
Why I chose salsa?
Yes.
Well, I think the original idea was about a man who got a very beautiful woman to fall in love with him because he was a powerful and passionate dancer, even though he's a kind of plain-looking schlub. And I think it's that thing that, being able to dance well or being funny, it's attractive, it's attractive to people, being passionate about something. And that could be anything. That could be MMA or, catering or cooking or walks in the countryside, that's attractive, that kind of passion. And I wanted to kind of get that over. And then in terms of why salsa, I'm a big fan of the Baz Luhrmann film, Strictly Ballroom. And so that meant that I couldn't use ballroom because he'd done it before and he'd done it so well. And it had to be a dance where a man and a woman can connect physically, And I think people have said, well, it could have been this and it could have been that. And the fact is, yeah, it could have been tango. But salsa just seemed to fit the bill, There is a big salsa community in London. Excuse me, I'm going to put that aircon on. But there's not necessarily a big tango community, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it kind of fitted the bill.
Are you looking for something?
You're from America. Where's the aircon? Put that there.
Oh, the air conditioning. I have no idea. Usually there's a dial with numbers on it. I would assume that's it. Maybe this is a dimmer.
What did you do? Yeah, you just did something.
Yeah, that's for that. This probably changes the music.
Let's carry it. Oh, yeah. Let's crack on. Don't worry.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you want me to call somebody in here? Or
no, I'm fine. Yeah, sorry, what was I saying?
No, you were just talking about how you went from
and tango to... I think someone said, what about Lindy Hop? And it's like, well, yeah, I get it, but it's not really the first dance you think of when you think of...
Sexual kind of...
Yeah, like a romantic sojourn, yeah. So, yeah, salsa kind of worked for us. Plus, it looks nice, people get to wear beautiful clothes, and the place where we shot the finale is a place called Camden Palace. It's now called Coco. But it's like that was an old rave venue, and it's red and gold, and it looks beautiful on camera,
It is kind of like another world, salsa.
Yeah.
When you're in it, you're entranced with everything.
Yeah.
How was it? I assume very, very fun. Just living it, just training it.
It is another world. I tell you what, is otherworldly is the Latino community in London. Because you'd go to clubs and there'd be 2,000 people in these clubs, and it would be 2,000 Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and Cubans, and you think, well, where are you in the day? Where have you been? What do you do? Where do you hang out?
There at the salsa place.
Yeah, they just stay there, and also, because of the training period and the fact that we reached out to so many of them and invited them, we wanted to know what they thought, and they were all in the final and they were all in the finale, and I think they started to feel an ownership of it, and that really helped us out, and as soon as they knew that we weren't there to
make fun of it.
Make fun of it.
It was genuine.
It was genuine, it's a love story, and with Cuban salsa in it, it wasn't about taking the piss of Cuban salsa. I think you'd be lynched, you'd be beaten by these beautiful Cuban men who, that's their life. They're not just going dancing, that's their life, and that's what they love and look forward to, and it's the girls, and I don't think I'd ever been anywhere where people were more welcoming and in terms of a big 42-year-old 20-stone white man trying to learn their culture, I never once felt they were laughing at me. They supported me. I never once turned around and heard two people talking Spanish and laugh and look at me, and you think, "Fuck, what did they just say?" It wasn't like that at all. and I think now, and even in London and in Britain, there's still a kind of vibe going on. I think numbers in salsa classes have gone up in Britain as a result, which is kind of amazing, because I always thought it would have been nice to do for salsa what Rocky did for boxing, in terms of people. I remember
exposure and.
But not just that, but coming out. I remember coming out watching. I think it was Rocky 3 with Mr. T playing Clubber Lang, and I have an older brother, and I was like 11 or 12, and he was like 19 or 20, and I remember just literally for an hour just fucking flicking jabs out into his arm until he got moody and laid me out. And you think, if a lot of the time I watch people leave a cinema just doing a little
strut.
A little strut. You think that's great. What a nice thing to be able to leave a cinema with that feeling. I think, and this isn't a criticism, because I there's a lot of films I love, but what feeling do you get when you leave a cinema when you've watched a robot throw a fucking building through the moon? Well, I don't know. It's beautiful to look at, but
there's no
kind of,
not that there's no heart, but there's more heart, I think, with dancing, and there's more.
Yeah, it's a romantic film with comedy in it and dance in it. It's kind of it's kind of cheating in a way. You pluck so many different heartstrings all at once. It's, I think you'd have to be fairly cold and heartless to leave here thinking, no shit.
What is it like having an idea go from your head to something almost not necessarily tangible, but to a movie?
Yeah, it's kind of worrying, because as an idea it frightened me for years, and I had it and I never told anyone about it, and the reason I never told anyone about it is because I thought if I tell someone then perhaps I would have to do it, and I didn't want to, and then one night, I think it's in the press notes, I kind of came in from a party and the idea emerged again. Well, no, it would do that thing where it would come into my mind, and I'd literally physically have to drive it out, or watch myself driving it into my unconscious again. And then every 3 months it would pop up, and in the end it became kind of deafening. And so I just came in and just wrote this idea that I had down, just a little email saying, about a guy who gets a girl to fall in love with him because he's an amazing and passionate dancer. And I think the last line of the email was, "I think we should shoot this in Miami," which obviously never happened. And then I pressed send, and I think I knew that I had been caught. You know what I mean? And I kind of.
Now you were stuck almost.
Yeah, because I'd committed to it. I said, "I'll do it. I'll do all the dancing."
You put your name on it.
But not just that. I'd said that I'd do all the dancing too. Do you want? They say you want a double. You want doubles to do the dancing. It's like, no, I want to do it all. I want to train for as long as we need, 6 months, 9 months, a year, and I'll do it all. Oh, brilliant! Yeah, all right. And then like an hour into the training, you think, you dickhead.
My girlfriend's ex-boyfriend's name is Nick. Spanning onto that, if you had to change your name to one other Latin name, what would it be?
I like the name Hector.
Hector?
I have a son, and Hector was on our list of boys' names. So I like Hector.
Okay.
I was a big fan of Hector Camacho, the boxer, so he's on my list.
Hector Macho Camacho?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Pleasure. And if it hasn't worked, you'll remember it all.